During a short break in a lengthy Beatles film and recording session earlier this evening, we managed to abduct John Lennon and George Harrison. The film of the Maharishi was still being processed at the time, but we started by taking up a point that the Maharishi had first made at the end of his conversation. The two things that the Maharishi said this morning were the results for people who meditated and followed this system of meditation. The two things he claimed for it were serenity and energy. Have you found that?
I've got more energy. Well, I mean, I've got the same energy, but I know how to tap it, that's all.
How do you mean exactly?
Well, the energy that I found through doing it, I know damn well I've had it there before. I've only used it on what I term good days, when everything's gone well. And then I found more energy because it's been going well. Well, with meditation, I find that if it's not too good a day, I can still sort of get the same amount of...
And can you link the two in any way? I mean, is it true of any day of meditation is equally good? I mean,
yeah. Well, the worst days I have on meditation are better than the worst days I had before without it.
Do you find that, George?
It's all the energy is latent within everybody. It's there anyway. The meditation is just a natural process of being able to contact that. So by doing it each day, you contact that energy and give yourself a little more. Consequently, you're able to do whatever you normally do, just with a little bit more happiness, maybe.
Yes. How do you come to reach this stage of meditation? The Maharishi this morning was very clear about how that he gave to everyone, or his teachers gave to everyone, a specific sound, and that each person had a sound that was tried to be in rhythm with the person and the personality.
Each person's the individual life sort of pulsates in a certain rhythm. So they give you a word or a sound known as a mantra which pulsates with that rhythm. So by using the mantra rather than a thought, because the whole idea is to transcend to the subtlest level of thought, so you replace the thought with the mantra, and the mantra becomes more subtle until finally you've lost even the mantra, and then you find yourself at that level of pure consciousness.
Yeah, what I wasn't quite... Is the mantra something you use to get back to the subject if you find earthly or irrelevant thoughts intruding?
Yeah,
or is it more
sort
than
of
that?
like that. You just sort of sit there and you let your mind go, whatever it's going, doesn't matter what you're thinking about, just let it go. And then you just introduce the mantra or the vibration, just to take over from the thought. You don't will it or use your willpower.
If you find yourself thinking, then at the moment you realize you've been thinking about things again, then you replace that thought with the mantra again. Sometimes you can go on and you find that you haven't even had the mantra in your mind. It has just been complete blank. But when you reach that point, because it's beyond all experience, then it's down there, and that level is timeless, spaceless, so you could be there for 5 minutes and come out. You don't actually know how long you've been there, because it's just the actual contact of that, and then coming back out to the gross level, like this level, and you bring that with you.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, in fact, then the aim, as opposed to sitting and thinking or anything, is to reach a point, in a sense, where you have no thoughts, is it?
Yeah, but you're not even conscious of that sometimes. You just know that the only time you're conscious is when you suddenly... It's like you don't know you're awake or something, or sleep till you're awake most of the time. You just... I was asleep before. So you come out of 20 minutes, and sometimes you come out and it's been 20 minutes sitting there. Other time it comes out and it's just, it seems as though no time's gone at all.
And can you look back at the end of that period and recount what's happened in the last 20 minutes? To an extent.
Well, that's why you go and see these people. So they sort of say, well, what were you doing? And you just say, well, nothing happened actually. I was just... And they say, well, what about this? And you say, oh, well, it did seem very short, or that seemed to happen.
You can't really tell anybody what it is, because the teaching's all based on the individual experience. Like if you were to do it, then you get instruction which leads to some sort of experience, And upon that experience, you're taught the next part.
It's like trying to
So
tell
really,
somebody what chocolate tastes like.
or
you
to
know, if they
tell
haven't had
somebody
it.
how it is to be drunk. You know, they've got to be drunk themselves before
Yes, I
they
can see
know
that.
what it is.
Well, no, but I can see that. But I mean, you're doing very well. In fact, in expressing something that's probably inexpressible. Because I mean, the thing is, at the end of it, I mean, do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel you know more about yourself? Do you feel you know more about something else or someone else?
You don't have more knowledge or anything, you know. Or maybe you do. I don't feel that exactly. You just feel more energetic, you know, just simply for doing work or anything. You just come out of it. I just, whoa, let's get going, you know. It's a real
The thing is, it takes a lot of practice to arrive at a point that you can remain there permanently. That's the whole thing. We've only been doing it a matter of 6 weeks, maybe. But there's definite proof I've had that it is something, that it really works. But in actual fact, it'll take a long time to arrive at the point where I'm able to hold that pure consciousness on this level, or to be able to bring that level of consciousness into this level of consciousness, which is the aim of it.
You mean the aim is to carry on the state you're in meditation?
Yeah, and
when you're here, or when you're
well, like you
making a
get
record.
that, you know, with practice. He said that one of his sort of analogies or whatever is that it's like dipping a cloth into gold. So you dip it in, you bring it out. You dip it in, you bring it out. And if you leave it in, it gets soggy. You know, like if you're sitting in a cave all your life.
If you bring it out, it fades.
And if you bring it out in the sun, it fades. But the meditation thing is going in and going out and going in. So it's when it, after, well, however many years or whatever, when you bring it out, it's the same when it's out as it's in. So when you're doing this, you're really zapping all the time inside. But that's something else.
But I mean, the thing is, you said permanently, the feeling permanently. I mean, I think one of you, and I think it was Paul, said that in fact that this feeling that meditation gives is the sort of permanent version of what drugs can give temporarily. Is that true?
Well, not really, because drugs, it's still all on the relative level. Like this sleeping and dreaming and waking, all those three states that people live through is all only relative, which is on this level, whereas this is on a subtler level. And so really you couldn't compare it. With drugs you do have a glimpse of a few things like that.
Is it as deep, drugs? I mean, are you saying that...
Well, the thing is, you could take drugs which should heighten your perception a little, and then maybe to try and get into that subtle level with the drug. But just to take the drug and hope it's going to bring that subtlety onto this gross level is a mistake. You know, it'll never work. I
mean, you experimented with drugs. Is that why you put them on one side?
Well, we dropped them long before Maharishi.
Oh, it wasn't...
Yeah, we just, you know, we'd had enough acid. It had done all it could do for us. You know, there was no going any further. It only does so much.
What does it do?
Well, what it does mainly is that is more of finding out about yourself, you know, and your ego and that kind of scene. So it's more psychological than anything else.
Whereas this is not psychological? I mean, it seems...
Well, it will be in the end, but I mean, if you have acid, it is just, you know, all about yourself. Am I, and did it, what? You know, it's all that. But this is just sort of a bit gentler.
I mean, yes, I mean, this is always
more
what...
gentle.
So you're on the ball even now, you see. The thing is, no, but I mean, do you think that this is so? I mean, do you think that with acid, in fact, that what you discover is yourself, or just a fantasy?
No, it's yourself, all right. I mean, obviously, you do have hallucinations, as they call them. It's only just another sort of state. But it is about yourself, you know. You don't find out... I mean, you can find out about other people, but they're only mirrors of yourself anyway. But you find out about yourself, you know, instead of taking 100 years, or maybe you never find out.
People can look at themselves objectively, you know, instead of thinking that you're the big cheese, like people
or even
tend
you're not
to
the
do.
Big cheese, whatever you
yeah,
think.
or whatever you think, you can see yourself from a different point of view. So consequently, it shows you a bit more truth than you've seen. Oh, and of course, truth depends on the person seeing it, but for me...
Sorry.
The thing is, you see certain things that have been there all the time, and yet you've lived with such a narrow concept of just general things, just like the trees or the grass or anything.
But I mean, presumably when you gave up those experiments with drugs, it wasn't because you felt you knew everything about yourselves, but because of the disadvantages of the thing as well, wasn't it?
Because the thing is that your true self isn't on this level again, it's on a subtler level. So whatever the true self is, the way to approach it is through that meditation or some form of yoga. We're not saying that this meditation is the only answer. It's obviously not. Yoga incorporates lots of different techniques, but the whole point is that each soul is potentially divine, and yoga is a technique of manifesting that. To arrive at that point that is divine.
And you've had 6 weeks of this, and it's already had a tremendous impact on you. Do you find that this sort of tremendous concern with meditation and one's own self and so on is now starting to impose not necessarily rules, but a difference to your conduct of the rest of the day? I mean, towards other people or anything? Or rules of any kind?
No.
It doesn't, see, it's just something you add. If you hadn't been cleaning your teeth all your life, it's just suddenly somebody says, it's a good idea if you clean them, so you try it, and it seems quite good. You just add it to your routine, you know, so you're just the same, just with the little difference of doing it. You know, it's just something you add to your religion. You don't have to change your religion or anything. You know, whatever you are, you carry on. But this is something that is a plus.
And you find your teeth are suddenly shining.
Yeah. 48% fewer cavities, they would say in America.
Yeah.
But I mean, in fact, if you compare this with, say, something like Christianity, which is concerned to try and find serenity, to give energy through the Holy Spirit or whatever, at the same time, a good 50% of that is concerned with then one's responsibility to other people. There doesn't seem to be any of that in this.
Because it's, you know, I mean, if you ask Maharishi or any of the people, you know, give us a few laws for living by, well, they'd be the same as Christianity. You know, Christianity is the answer as well as this. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but through Christianity, how I was taught it, they told me to believe in Jesus and in God and all that. They didn't actually show me any way of experiencing God or Jesus. So the whole point of to believe in something without actually seeing it, well, it's no good. You've got to actually experience the thing. You know, if there's a God, we must see him. And that's the point, you know, the whole thing. It's no good to believe in something, you know, just hallucination.
Well, that bit about the kingdom of heaven is within you, you know, that's all it means. To have a peep inside, you know.
And to
there's
contact
no big scene there or some old fella or... it's still, you know, just like electricity, you don't see it.
But I mean, it's the same in the sense that you now have evidence you personally feel of this thing. Equally, Christians feel they have experience of that thing, but in both cases it's impossible to prove it to anybody else, isn't it?
Yeah, but having been, and still am really a Christian, and done this, I know the difference between being 15 and just saying, you know, it's very nice and all that. And had I been taught meditation at 15, now I would be pretty groovy.
Yes, but I mean, the word, for instance, the word God, I mean, does it mean something different to you now than it did before Maharishi?
It means all sorts of things to me. It means, I mean, the first concept of a man in the sky, well, I kicked that one a few years ago, but I've got back to that now because it's a man in the sky as well, if you like. It's just everything. The whole thing, it's just everything. Every aspect of creation is part of God.
I think of it just like a big piece of energy, you know, like electricity or anything, just a bigger piece, a big powerhouse.
And it's the energy that runs through everything, that holds everything together and makes everything one big piece of energy.
But yes, I'm still concerned about the outgoing part. I mean, is it solely concerned with oneself, or does it in any way make one feel more responsible for other people, or more responsible for people who are dependent on you, or whatever?
Well, you realise that it's your actions are going to lead to whatever the reaction is. So that's the only thing about your attitude to other people. If you treat other people good, they'll treat you good. If you kick them in the face, they probably do the same thing. That's the easiest thing to do with religion, of action and reaction. That's the thing that Christ was saying about what you sow, you reap. Just means whatever you do, you'll get it back. And that's why it doesn't really matter what people say or think, because they'll get it back, just like we'll get back what's coming.
Yes, that's,
so really
that's Old Testament too.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
Everything you read about all the religions, they're all the same. It's just a matter of people opening their minds up to allow that. Yeah, all right, Buddha was a groove, Jesus was all right, and they're all saying exactly the same thing.
Well, how would you? I mean, what differences would you say there were between Jesus, say, and the Maharishi, for instance?
Well, I don't know. I don't. Maharishi doesn't do miracles, for a kick-off. I don't know how divine or how superhuman or whatever it is he is at all. But I mean, Jesus was one of the
divine incarnation. Like some of the people, like Christ and Buddha and Krishna and various others, are divine the moment they're born. That is, they've achieved the highest thing and they choose to come back to try and save a few more people, whereas others manage to be born just ordinary and attain the divinity in that incarnation.
So Maharishi's probably one of them, was born quite ordinary, but he's working at it.
And, I mean, how do you think, in fact, the Maharishi, this meditation can, for instance, help the world's problems?
Well, if everybody was doing it, it'd just be too much.
It's the same thing that Jesus said about go and fix your own house, and everything's fixed up then. If you sort yourself out, everybody was to go home and find out for themselves and fix up all their personal problems, then no other problems exist, because they only cause the problems that exist in the world. It's all each person, individual. It's just up to him to do it.
And as each person does that, and as each person goes deeper and deeper within themselves, is each person going to find good and good thoughts below? I mean, or is there such a thing in this definition?
You transcend all thoughts. There aren't any thoughts.
It doesn't matter what you're thinking when you do it. I mean, you can be thinking the most awful things in the world, I suppose. But the point is to get down there, and then you're not thinking anything. It's when you come out you mightn't be thinking quite the same. Or after a few weeks. I mean, we don't really know what happened to a sort of a killer or something that did it. Maybe he changed his mind. We don't know about that. You should have asked him that side of it. But it's for the good, and it's simple. That's the main bit about it. So they're bound to be a bit better than they were, whatever they were before they did it.
And each person, you're saying, each person, there's no one who it's not possible.
Anybody can do it. All you've got to do is be interested in it, whether you're interested in it to knock it or to do anything. But if you just want to try it to find out, that's all you need, Because the fellow that runs it here in London was a real sort of, trying to knock it down for months before he got it. He was a real cynic or whatever you call it.
I'll accept cynic.
Yeah, right.
I mean, even so, as you look at this thing, I mean, you find that you say on the one hand there's no rules for how it'll affect people or anything, but I mean, looking back in your last work in Sgt. Pepper, for instance, there the music was affected by the experiments probably with drugs and so on that you've been doing. Are you finding now, we've grabbed you in the middle of a sort of day of recording sessions and so on, are you finding a difference in yourselves as you work, in what you work at, in how you work?
All the differences in Pepper and all that were in retrospect, It wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, we had LSD, so it tinkle.
Oh, no. As you look in retrospect at what you did yesterday...
We can't see what we've done now.
I feel that we're all a little more tolerant, but we've been learning that over the last 4 or 5 years. But just lately, I think we are very much more tolerant than we have been. And I hope that we'll get even more tolerant.
One of the last things I asked the Maharishi was what he thought that people were on earth for. After 6 weeks of his teachings, what would you say?
To create more happiness and to fulfill all desires. And I personally think that everybody's going to be here until they have fulfilled all desires. I mean, this gets into other things that may take up hours of argument.
How do you mean they're still going to be here?
Well, I believe in reincarnation. I mean, it's just something that I feel exists, that what you sow, you reap. So when you die, I mean, life and death are still only relative to thought. There's no such thing, really. Just keep going. I believe in rebirth, and then you come back and go through more experience, and you die, and you come back again, and you keep coming back until you've got it straight. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and then what?
Well, the ultimate thing is to manifest that divinity so that you can become one with the Creator. I mean, it sounds pretty far out, you know, for me to be talking about things like that, but that's just
it's not
what I believe.
Yeah, I believe the same, you see. But it's just when we're talking about meditation and that, it's frightening, really, for people who haven't done it or are still who fancy the meditation, but hear about, like, coming back and all that up there. So, you know, I'd sooner put it over and forget all about that, just to put it over.
Because that's not really important, because this whole point of
anyway, you know,
of his meditation is for now, you know, because it's now all the time, it's present, and the past's got nothing to do with it.
You know, not to live to get into heaven by being a good boy,
but just
or to go to hell, just to live better as you're living, you know, do whatever you're doing better.
Because you create your own...
Live now, you know, not looking forward to the great day, or whatever it's meant to be.
And there, we must leave it. John, George, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mas amigos, I'm always